The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater, 61 degrees, going up to 70 today. And it's kind of winter. Maybe a week early. Usually we get this about the week of Thanksgiving, maybe 2 weeks early. So, cool. And the number here is 877-927-6648, and you'd like to give us some information about the show, some ideas for the show, or just want to give us a call or let us know what you're doing, you can reach me at nico@tfnn.com. Of course, we're taking your phone calls too. Today I want to kind of explore what's happened to our diets and give you a really good leg up on what to prepare for Thanksgiving, because we want to go into the holidays, I think, on a real natural, real good feeling and real healthy food and being with family and friends, and that's what the holidays are about. That's what it always meant to me. In my life, I always wanted to be with family during the holidays. So usually at Thanksgiving, usually at Christmas, I would visit my mom and dad when I was younger. And as my father passed away and my sister passed away and my mother passed away, everybody's gone, seems like, from our family. Don't really have a place to go anymore. So it's a little bit sad, but when you look at the bright side of the whole thing, then my wife and I have started new traditions. The last couple of years, we fixed ducks, which came out pretty successfully. And not easy doing it, a little bit more preparation than a turkey, but certainly, there's a lot of things that we can do during Thanksgiving. So let's go over what really brought us here. But before I do that, I'd like to mention that I do have a brand new Health Signals newsletter coming out for the 15th of the month here. The last one for November. I got 2 more coming up for the first of the year. And we're really talking about the flu and lots of other things here to keep you healthy. So pick up that. I want to remind you, too, of course, we have our Primal Edge promotion going right now. So in November, Healthy Holidays promotion, you get $25 off the first bottle of Primal Edge. I really do believe that once you try the Primal Edge for a little while, that you'll be convinced this is something that you need to do every single day. So pick that up. So, the standard American diet, that's abbreviated to be the SAD diet, I think that's kind of appropriate, is a carbohydrate heavy. Approximately 60% of the calories come in carbohydrates. And in response to the past 2 generations of nutritional advice from a variety of authorities, including our government, we've been told that reducing our consumption of fat, particularly the saturated fats, will reduce the incidency of coronary and several other chronic diseases. This has led to the guidance to reduce animal products in our diet, but there's never been a single study that proves saturated fat causes heart disease. Consider the following. As heart disease rates have skyrocketed during the 1900s, consumption of animal fat was going down, not up. Consumption of vegetable oils, however, was dramatically going up. Half of all heart attack victims have normal or low cholesterol. Autopsies performed on heart attack victims routinely reveal plaque-filled arteries in people whose cholesterol was low. Asian Indians, half of whom are vegetarians, have some of the highest rates of heart disease in the entire world. Kids who were diagnosed as suffering from ADD have successfully treated by reintroducing natural saturated fats into their diets. The human brain is largely made up of fat. Most epileptics have reduced or eliminated seizures by adopting a low in sugar and starch and high in saturated animal fats. Despite everything you've heard about saturated fat being linked to cancer, the link is strategically very, very weak. However, there is a strong link between sugar and cancer. In Europe, doctors tell their patients sugars feeds cancers. And the statistics are very scary. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, 24 million people in the United States now have diabetes, and increased 3 million over the past 2 years. There are still also 57 million people more who have what we call pre-diabetes. 1/3 of Americans are very, very obese. 2/3 of the Americans now are overweight or obese. The number of overweight children has increased, along with disease associated with being overweight. 1/3 of children born in the U.S. today will develop type 2 diabetes. And for the first time, life expectancy of U.S. children is less than their parents. We've been told the answer to obesity, overweight, is to eat less and exercise more. But the scientific evidence does not support this. A 245-pound man walking up 20 flights of stairs will burn the equivalent of a slice of bread. And depending on the brand, if you have whole wheat bread that will spike your blood sugar, that'll be even more. We really are not what we eat. We are what our bodies do with what we eat. There are such things as essential amino acids. These building blocks of protein are required by the human body, but we cannot make them. They must be in our diet. The only source of complete proteins, one that contain these essential amino acids, are animal proteins, fish, poultry, and meat. There are also such things as essential fatty acids. Now, these fatty acids are required for optimal health, and the best source of them is animal fat. There is not such a thing as an essential carbohydrate, and we've discussed that many times. Thus, officially recommending a low-fat diet, which must be high in our carbohydrates by its definition, does not provide sufficient essential amino acids, fatty acids, while it provides an excessive amount of carbohydrates. Carbohydrate consumption raises insulin. Chronically elevated insulin levels are now understood to be the cause of metabolic syndrome. Approximately 47 million Americans now have this condition. And metabolic syndrome signals an increased risk of coronary heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, gout, hypertension, and a host of other chronic modern diseases. So that sets the stage for what this show really was about and why I started the Primal Lifestyle, to bring you these facts. This is what everybody's eating. And if you're not on board of living a primal lifestyle, this is probably your diet right now. It may be worse than this. It may be that you're going into the fast food industry, and that may be even worse. And it's not as good as Donald Trump says, that's for sure. So folks, stick around. I'll be right back. Please pick up our Primal Edge. And during November here, of course, we have the Healthy Holidays promotion, $25 off that first bottle. Pick that up. Also pick up my Health Signals newsletter, $5 each issue, 2 issues a month on the first and third Tuesday of every month. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back, folks. Paige is out of town. She's at the Weston A. Price conference, and when she comes back, I'm sure she's going to have a load of information. She's been texting me, meeting all kinds of people from the Weston Price organization, Ben Greenfield, all these people that we often talk about and often quote on this show. So I'm looking forward to that. Still a little lonely here all by myself, but I'll manage. So let's talk turkey. You know, one of the things when Thanksgiving is here in a couple of weeks now, and that brings in the whole season of eating, I think. It's the time of year when family, friends, festivities, and most of all, food takes the center stage in our lives. There's no shortage of high-calorie, seasonal comfort food. The holidays often break the resolve of those who usually want what they eat. However, there's plenty of ways to enjoy your Thanksgiving without throwing out the basics of a healthful diet. Turkey, of course, is the staple of Thanksgiving and many a leftover meal in the days after. If you still have to buy your turkey from the lower market, you should probably go directly to your farmer instead. Most of the turkeys that would be in your normal supermarket usually come from factory farms. So you should really opt for something else, because this really promotes the widespread contamination and poor health of animals and humans, both together. So previous tests by Consumer Reports have indicated that more than 80% of the fresh whole broiler chickens brought in the U.S. Supermarkets harbor salmonella or other diseases, and turkey is likely has these similar contamination rates, and it seems reasonable that contamination would occur similar to the chickens. For this and many other humanitarian ecological reasons, I recommend that you get a pasture-raised turkey from your local farmer, or maybe just an organic turkey whenever possible. But the combination of those two, a turkey that's been fed its natural diet, which usually is a lot of bugs and worms and some of the grains and things like that. But we prefer them to go out and find their own food. Turkeys very well know. You'll find, too, that the organic turkey is not as large and much denser meat. So turkey is really low in fat and high in protein. A 3.5-ounce portion of dark meat turkey without the skin will contain 8 grams of fat and about 28 grams of protein, whereas the same amount of white breast meat without the skin will contain more than 4 grams of fat and about 30 grams of protein. That's why people have had breast meat. Chicken and turkey both. That's a big thing in America is the breast meat. It's the stuff I never eat. I will put that, however, in my soups, and that's really good because in the soups you can add your collagen and your fat, and you don't really have to worry that much that you're too low in fat. And remember, we want to be high in fat. While white meat is typically more popular than dark meat, from a nutritional standpoint, dark meat is preferable, and it's higher in healthy fat and slightly lower in protein. So the combination, again, fits in with living a primal lifestyle. Lower protein, higher healthy fat. And meanwhile, the skin of the turkey is delicious, so why would you want to remove it? I'd say don't remove this. For most adults, this serving of turkey is perfectly adequate to meet your protein needs, and if you had much more, you'd actually be doing more harm than good. The only exception would be women in their second and third trimester and those aggressively exercising. Those individuals need about 25% more, or that's about 1 more ounce of turkey. As a rule, you want to limit your protein intake to 1 gram of protein per kilo of lean body fat, or about a half a gram of protein per, so half a gram rather than 1 gram, they say is better. Either way, I don't really think that it's that bad to overindulge once in a while. But of course, if you're starting this whole program on Turkey Day and then indulging all the way through Christmas and New Year's, then that's a ticket for disaster, I would say. So, limiting your protein is really good. But one of the things I found, if you limit your consumption of the dark meat and only use the dark meat, you're going to be satisfied a lot more. You won't get to that really full stage. And anything else that you eat, the vegetables that are there, I would stay away from the carbohydrates and save that for the dessert, because we do want to eat some of the dessert. A dark piece of turkey meat equal to about the size of a deck of cards is about 3.5 to 4 grams, which is ideal portion. So this recommendation is based on new information gleaned from the Dr. Ron Rosedale, who is one of the first physicians in the U.S. that started measuring insulin and leptin levels clinically and was far ahead of the curve on that. He was interviewed recently, and he said one of the most important things is to remember is that excessive protein intake can have a real negative effect on your health, and it does spur on the cancer growth. When you consume protein levels higher than 1 gram of protein per kilogram of your lean body mass, this helps to activate the mTOR pathway, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, which will radically increase the risks of cancer. This is the mTOR pathway, is the pathway where the cells keep growing. And remember, as we age and get past our reproductive pathway, we don't want to reproduce anymore. Now our body in the reproduction mode is actually helping cancer grow. So we want to be in the maintenance and repair mode. And this is where the low protein plays a huge role. When you lower your protein, the activation of maintenance and repair is there. And that way you don't go into the growth, which is what cancer really loves. Vegetarians tend to have their protein levels in line with the recommendation, and this is not typically done intentionally, but the result of lower concentration of protein in most nuts and vegetables relative to the animal products is why that happens. The author here believes that psychologically it's best to optimize yourself with high-quality pasture-raised protein as long as it does not exceed the limits that we just mentioned, 1/2 gram to 1 gram of protein per your lean body mass. So here's some do's and don'ts of the healthy Thanksgiving meal. When you reduce protein, you need to replace it with other calories, not merely eliminate it. The key to this replacement of the lost calories with high quality fats such as avocados, butter, if you're not allergic to butter, coconut oil, nuts, and eggs. So don't be afraid to use plenty of butter in your cooking, and even afterwards, spreading it on your vegetables. I love doing that. Speaking of healthy fats, one of the most important parts of the meal is the bone broth. Simply let the turkey remnants simmer in a pot on very whole heat for most of the days. If you have excess turkey feet, that would be even better. Throw them in there, and that'll really be loaded with that sulfur-containing collagen. Strain and use as a replacement for gravy. So don't mix in the flour and things that we normally do, because those are just extra source of unwanted carbohydrates. Folks, go to the TFNN.com website here. Click on the November Healthy Holidays promotion. Pick up some Primal Edge for $25 off the regular price. Your first shipment will be forthwith with $25 reduction. And from then on, you'll be sure that you'll be getting a healthy dose on your front doorstep every single month. Also, pick up my brand new Health Signals newsletter. Got a lot of information there that you want to look at to do your own research. And the number here is 877-927-6648. I'll be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Paige will be back. I'm not sure if she'll be back Thursday, but she'll be back next week for sure. She may be here Thursday, depending on when her flight gets. But she's in Alabama at the Weston A. Price Foundation meetings there, and she's going to have a real slew of information for us. And, of course, it's exciting. I wish I could have gone, but too many things on my plate right now, so stick around. Oh, we're talking about Turkey Day coming up next week. I think it's next week. It's hard to keep track. Everything's going so darn fast. But I think one of the most important things to remember is not to overeat. But there's plenty of good stuff that you can eat, even in a turkey. So stay away from the white meat. And I mentioned, too, that I usually use the white meat, whatever's left over, I really throw in a big pot. And I keep boiling it down, even with the bones and everything. Just keep it in there, and that gives you some really, really good soup. And you can keep that for 3 months, and every once in a while you take it out and have a little turkey soup if you don't have as many people in the house like Ellen and I do. But so one of the most important things, like I said, is the bone broth, and just letting that thing simmer all day is really important. And remember that the gelatin that forms on top contains sulfur, probably the healthiest, most healing part of the meal. So don't skim this off the top like I see many people do. Instead, just mix it into the broth. And avoid adding any flour, because this leads to an excessive carbohydrates. That's really not essential at all. Other items to avoid really are stuffing, especially if the stuffing contains some bread or crackers and things like that, and of course the bread. If you want something starchy with your organic meat and vegetables, simply go with some organic potatoes, but really cook them, and I'd recommend cooking them twice, boiling them, and then after they're boiled, then you can maybe mash them up and cook them again, and that seems to be a lot healthier for you. Cranberries are another Thanksgiving meal staples. While cranberries are high in antioxidants and have proven health benefits, you won't read any such reports if you opt for the sugar-laden canned variety. According to the USDA nutritional data, raw cranberries contain about 4 grams of sugar per cup of berries, while the canned version is about 100 grams of sugar per cup. So they're mostly sugar, folks. And that depends on the brand of the style, of course. Ocean Spray, the whole cranberry sauce, contains 88 grams of sugar per cup. You're best to go for the whole fresh cranberries. Make your own cranberry sauce from scratch. Apple and or orange are even natural sweeteners, or you could use stevia, or Haan is another product they say here that can sweeten up your sauce. Here's some healthy kitchen tips. The Environmental Working Group essentially posted some healthy kitchen tips in time for Thanksgiving. One of the things is using non-toxic cookware. So the non-stick type is not what I use. I use ceramic that's really binded hard, so it doesn't have any toxins in it. I'd stay away from aluminum. You can use cast iron is really good. The stainless steel is good. About 70% of cookware sold in the United States contains a non-stick cooking that contains the PFOA and the PFCs. For information on these, you can read the Environmental Workings Group reports. Its basis on a review of 50,000 pages of regulations, studies, documents, and internal documents from manufacturers shows that these PFCs give you health concerns. Those health concerns are, number one, cancer, reproductive problems, immune system problems, hypothyroidism, birth defects, and organ damage. To avoid exposure to these chemicals, which are released when the pan is heated, replace all non-stick cookware with either cast iron, stainless steel, oven same glass, or ceramic like I use. To avoid chemical exposures from storing and heating foods, store leftovers in glass or ceramic containers, as harmful chemicals found in plastic containers can migrate into food. Don't ever microwave food in a plastic container or even under the plastic wrap. I recommend not using microwave at all. We tossed out our microwave many years ago. Well, we donated it to somebody. Reheat leftovers on the stove instead of using your microwave. A microwave food can demolish the nutrients and have a real bad effect on you. So then the favorite part of this meal, I think, is probably dessert. While the healthiest option is to skip dessert altogether, I don't recommend that. I realize this may put a damper on the festivities, so what are the alternatives? A homemade pumpkin pie is probably really good for you. Just go easy on the sugar. Many dessert recipes use far more sugar than is necessary for the optimal taste. If you choose pumpkin pie, you could top it with organic raw whipping cream, my favorite, or even you can use more fats such as organic pasture-raised Kerrygold butter. I personally probably eat a couple of pounds of butter a week, I imagine. I also enjoy a little treat, and my wife and I generally have a couple of pieces of chocolate after each meal. So chocolate is really good after a meal, very satisfying, and a little bit goes a long way. What else is on here? Yeah, that's about it, I think. There's a bunch of desserts on here, but I'll put those in the Health Signals newsletter. Make sure that when you're cooking things, don't go to the real high heats. Keep things going at a lower rate. When you're cooking your turkey, remember the gizzards and the innards of the turkey, which most companies will still have in there. Really important. You can saute these in some butter or some oil of some kind, not the crazy oils that are out there, but maybe a little real low heat, some good olive oil that will be all right in the medium heat. I like butter myself. Sesame oil is another thing that I use quite a bit when I'm cooking some meats and want a little nutty taste to it. So there's a lot of ways you can do things. It's going to be really important that you stick to this type of thing. And I think you'll find that if you start feeding yourself more fat, especially in the morning when you start, maybe some bulletproof coffee. If you're the cook, you're of course maybe tasting, hopefully you're tasting what you're cooking, which means you're already ahead of the curve in the eating department. I find naturally when I cook, I seem to eat less during the meal, and maybe that's why, because I'm tasting everything and making sure that I have everything the way I want it to do. So other things you can do, of course, is go the route that my wife, Ellen, and I did the last couple of years, is the turkey. This year we've also got one of those great hams from Portugal, the ones from the black pigs with the white feet. Really good, and we're going to be serving that during that time. Generally, we do fix a little bit of desserts, something really low-key, just like a little chocolate pudding of some kind. My wife makes a wonderful chocolate mousse right from scratch. I found it very simply, just contains eggs, whites, egg yolks, beaten separately and then combined together. And I think 1 bar of chocolate makes enough for maybe 5 or 6 desserts, if I remember correctly. So a lot of healthy things that you can do. Look it up on the web. Look up in some of the Health Signals newsletters that you have accumulating. And I'm going to be right back. The number here is 877-927-6648. While you're at it, pick up some Primal Edge, pick up my newsletter, and I will be back in a few minutes. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And welcome back to the show, folks. Thanksgiving's almost here, so I thought I'd go over some of the things in the last segment. I went over really about cooking a turkey and how to get the best out of your turkey and what kind of turkey you should be buying and what you should be preparing and what kind of desserts you should be having. So for me, Thanksgiving was always the joy of going to visit my family. Driving from Clearwater here to Tallahassee, seeing my sister was always a tradition with my wife and myself. So we would go probably 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, start heading for Tallahassee, take a nice slow ride up there, arrive sometime before noon. We'd have some martinis probably when we arrived because my brother-in-law always loved those beautiful martinis, and we certainly would indulge in some alcohol and having good food and just, catching up again because we don't live like we used to with our ancestors. We live farther apart than we ever have, I think, as a society. Most of my relatives are very, very far from me. So the only one close to me is my dear wife, and thank God I have her. So these traditions are intrinsic to us, and they're very, very important for keeping us happy, I think. When you don't have that anymore, you start clinging to other things. You start appreciating some of the things that you do have instead of really worrying about what is gone now. So I think it's really important to reflect on those things. And I came across this article, 7 Tips for Healthy and Stress-Free Holidays by Amy Myers, who we often quote here. She says it's officially the holiday season. It's a joyous time for family and friends and celebrations. However, if you're not prepared, this can be really do a number on your gut and your stress levels and have a major impact on your thyroid and your immune system. So to help you enjoy the season and while you're maintaining your health, she put together this kind of list of healthful and empowerment tips. And the first thing is really to commit to your health, and that was what the first part of my show was really about, deconstructing the sad American diet that we have and realizing that's not the route to go if I want to be healthy, especially in the last 20 to 30, 40, 50 years of my life. Very important for me to be mobile, to be healthy, to not get these colds and flus that everybody gets, and to just be happy about my life. This is the time of life that I really want to enjoy it. We've worked all our lives and still are working, really, but there's certainly ways to enjoy it. So the first one she says is to commit to your health. And for a lot of people, that's very difficult to do, and I realize this. But don't, you want to start off right. So you want to really explore what the Living a Primal Lifestyle diet is all about and why we really revere the healthy fats, do away with most of the carbohydrates, especially ones that are processed, and save the processed carbs for your alcohol is what I normally do, and tend not to overdrink, but to enjoy the alcohol as it comes, and have a couple of drinks over the holidays is a wonderful thing. So the second thing is really being mindful of sugar, starch, and alcohol. It's very easy for your gut to get out of balance during the holidays. The stress, the indulgences, and the change in schedules can leave you open to infections like Candida growth or SIBO, which is the small intestine bacteria overload. These microorganisms in your gut thrive on sugar, so know your limits. Overindulging on sweets and alcohol can add fuel to the fire. If you're prone to these types of infections, you might want to consider supplementing with Candisol, which will help if you have Candida. It's made from plant enzymes, and they have natural antimicrobial properties, which is an added bonus during the flu season. So what we find during this season, which we call the flu season, is because of the extra consumption of carbohydrates, and a lot of it in alcohol form, it really destroys your gut bacteria and therefore lowers your immune system. And then what happens is the flu that's going around, you're very, very likely to catch it. You may not even catch it from somebody else, maybe just from the doorknob you grabbed, and then you touched your nose and your mouth. It's going to happen to you. So if you want to be healthy, you really have to stress diet and go easy on the alcohol. Doesn't mean you don't have to take it out of your life. It just means you have to be sensible about it. Number 3 is prepare for eating on the go. Well, certainly there's a lot of traveling that's being done at this time of year. If your holiday includes travel plans, either by car or plane, plan ahead. Make sure you drink plenty of filtered water. Most airports now have filter water stations. Pack your own meals and snacks so you don't get caught off guard, and settle for some of that airplane food, or even worse, the airplane, the portion food, the place where the airplanes are all sitting around and you're waiting for your flight, and you're getting hungry, and then all of a sudden you go to the counter there, and the only thing healthy might be there some coffee, but the rest of the stuff I don't think so. Number 2, packing a lunch is really good when you travel. Have a plan if you accidentally get gluten. In other words, there's many foods out there that are, especially in the fast food industry, in the processed food industry, any of the restaurants you go to probably have some hidden things that may have some gluten in there, may have added carbs in there that can upset the whole balance. So it's always to have a good plan for that. And what we do carry with us when we travel is always some charcoal, and always some extra acid, hydrochloric acid. HCl. Excuse me. So, when you're traveling, even the other day, I fixed because we don't do pasta and things anymore, very seldom we do anything, but I found some pasta the other day that was the traditional Japanese yam and buckwheat. Now, buckwheat is a grain, but it's more of a flour, so it doesn't have as many problems in it. And because of the pasta was purple, I could tell there was a lot of yam in that, and that was really good. So I fixed my great recipe of clams and linguine, which is just out of this world. I learned it from an Italian grandmother many years ago, and so I fixed some of that, and after the meal, my wife said she felt a little heavy in her stomach, didn't feel quite right, so she took some of the charcoal, seemed to do the trick, because all night she didn't have any problems. I didn't have any problems. I did feel a little brick in my stomach for about the first hour, and I think it was just because we're not used to eating pasta, and it takes a little bit to break that down, but I didn't have any adverse effects of it, and of course, that pasta, we generally, I think, we're so used to eating a little bit of meat and a little bit of vegetables, and that's it, that extra pasta is just a whole bunch of food that we normally don't eat. So I think just the clams and the sauce would have been just probably enough, because that's where the fat is. But it was okay. So you can fix things like that, and you can find better versions of things like that. So, but if you accidentally do get a response like that, you can take charcoal, 2, 3, 4, 5 capsules, even 6 capsules, not a problem. You can take that. That'll bind with the toxins, take it out of your system, and not impact you so much. And of course, the HCl, really, if you're overdoing the protein and the fat that's along with it, then your HCl comes in and helps you digest that. So if you know ahead of time that you're probably going to overeat, maybe take some HCl before you even start eating. It's a good thing to do. Another thing is, of course, making time for yourself. Everything gets busy and everybody's, yak, a lot of things going on. Yeah, good time to take a walk, and that's something that my parents always did. They took me along for the ride when I was younger, and I got that in me. So I always go for walks with my wife. So that's it. Anyway, stick around, folks. I got plenty more. I'll be right back. I pick up some Primal Edge and pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Brand new one right now.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
And welcome back to the show. I was talking about some of the things that you can do to reduce your stress during the holidays, and I ended off talking about maybe taking a walk, just having some time for yourself. This includes maybe taking a hot bath, maybe practicing yoga, doing stress-relieving activities, maybe just sitting in a corner reading. I often find my wife, after we're yakking away and having drinks and everything, she'll go in the corner and sit and read for a little while. Really a good thing to do. Another thing during the holidays you need to do is get plenty of sleep, because this is what rejuvenates you after a long day of having lots of fun, but there's still stress when there's family around. And of course, now that we're in the winter pattern, we have a lot less sunlight, so make sure that you do go out in the sun when you're taking that walk, and then get plenty of rest. So you can use different things. One of the big things now people are using are these amber glasses, which reduces the blue light. These are relatively inexpensive. You can find them on the web. Just look for amber glass reducing blue light, and you'll find lots of different versions of it. And of course, you can put amber lights like in your bathroom and things like that, and that will help you get into mode of sleeping when the time comes. And of course, holidays are another way to be thankful for what we have and what life is all about. And I think that was the original intent of Thanksgiving, having the word thanks right in there. But there's general practices that you can do. You can honor things. We have natural rhythms that we get into, and this is you're talking about the sleep and things like that, but there are natural rhythms. So, waking up when the sun is out and going to bed when the sun goes down, those are the types of things that are really important. Getting enough sunlight is another one. And don't stress over your food. It's the holidays. You need to do some of the traditional things that you want to do because that's a really important part of who we are. At the same time, you can watch what you eat, but you don't need to stress over it. And you don't need to do that self-talk, oh, I'm a bad boy because I'm eating this. That really compounds the problem. Also, during the holidays, people tend not to maybe exercise as much, and I think you should not stress over that part. Get your workout in if you want to. If you skip a workout, that's not a big deal, because it's what you do on a daily basis that matters, not what happens during crisis time or times when you're so busy. So don't feel guilty. You can get a workout in by just going for a walk and going to bed at a normal time. One of the philosophies I have is that I want to move every single day. So I find my way of moving, whether it's getting on a trampoline or going for a swim or a walk or going to jiu-jitsu or whatever it is that I can do at the time. Even when I get hungry, I don't stress over that either, because to me it's not a big deal anymore. I think that's the part of eating healthy fat that is really good, that I do get hungry, and yet it doesn't bother me like it used to. In other words, my brain doesn't go crazy. It sort of accepts it. Oh, I'm hungry. I need to eat in the next few hours. And that's kind of the attitude that I have. So I think that's really good. And I really have another ability, and Mark Sesson talks about this in his blog, is that I have the ability to slow down time. So when you're frantic and when you're short on time, you do some nice deep breathing exercises, sit in a corner for a while, not facing the corner, but just go off into a little of your own space when there's a lot of people around, and take a deep breath and just relax and think about the good things. And, that really does help center you. So that's one way that I avoid being bored when there's nothing to do. I don't feel bored because I think of rejuvenation. And at the same time, I want adventure, so I'm always trying to stick a little adventure in whatever I do, even on a little daily basis, but certainly on a weekly basis, and certainly when I'm traveling. I want a little bit of adventure, so look for something that you're passionate about and have that adventure. After all, life is an adventure, and it's the journey that counts. It's not the destination, because we don't even know what the destination is. Folks, thanks a lot for sticking around. I think Paige will be back in maybe the next session or two, and we're looking forward to hearing from her. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.